Hey, soul babes. Welcome to the Essence Podcast. I'm your host, Riss, and in this space, consider me your intuitive bestie here, giving you the tools, knowledge, and wisdom you need to reconnect back to your essence. This podcast is also about helping you remember that you are a unique soul on your own unique journey, and I'm here as your guide, as your spiritual bestie, helping you rediscover how becoming your own greatest case study helps you stop looking outside of yourself and start taking that gaze inward so you can begin to create a life that truly reflects who you are. Your essence in all, honey, from head to toe. This week is all about routines. There tends to be a tug-of-war between our mind, body on which way and direction we want to go. Sometimes exhaustion feels illegal, like we want to rest. It feels like we have no time to do so. And routine takes over. We're so used to this copy and paste of following order because not only is it like a structured container that gives results, like working, you're putting in the effort and you're receiving the money back. So there's this like giving and receiving happening. So when it comes to life and what we're doing on a daily basis, we tend to do exactly that, where we are copying and pasting because we know the results. But when it comes to our own dreams, when it comes to our own way of creating a life that looks more like ourselves, it's hard to get there, right? Like it's hard to actually move out of something that's already been said and done. And although we want bigger and better, we tend to feel trapped. And this is exactly what we're diving into. We're diving into how do we stop putting this tug-of-war between our mind and body? How do we stop feeling like it's got to be a versus, right? So like we're fighting with ourselves on resting because we're like, no, we have to get up and do. We have to show up. If we don't show up, then we let a lot of people down. So we say. But at the end of the day, we're letting ourselves down. We're letting our dreams down. And how to change that narrative, how to literally get out of that headspace and start to actually put one foot in front of the other with listening not only to our structure, not only to the routine of doing, but also to spirit. Spirit is also your intuition, also learning from your higher self on how to slow down. Also, your body is part of that beautiful intelligence that needs the rest, that needs the hibernation because it's winter right now, but then also needs to feel illuminated, needs to dance somewhere in between that rest and do something different. And this is exactly what we'll be getting into. So grab your tea or your cacao or your matcha, whatever you are going to be drinking in this episode, and your crystals, and let's get started.
In your divine essence you shine. In your divine essence you thrive. I'm your host, Riss, and you're listening to Essence Podcast.
Okay, so I want to start off with showing you my matcha sweater. Yes, so cute. Look at this. It's like got a little frappe sewn onto it too. I got this sweater for Christmas and it's so cozy and warm, and I wanted to show it off to you. If you don't already know, I'm low-key obsessed with matcha. I really do love it. I just asked my bestie, who is flying to Japan to visit her family. She's Japanese, and I asked her to get me some matcha. I feel like she's a plug because every time she goes there, I've now been like asking for little things that are really useful. Like the pens in Japan are absolutely amazing. Obviously the matcha. And she also gets me all these little trinkets and notebooks and bath salts. Oh, it's so amazing. I cannot wait till I get the opportunity to visit Japan. But in the meantime, I get to embody it. I get to taste it. I get to write with it. And that's the beauty of manifesting, is when you actually embody it first. Although in my cup, I am not drinking matcha right now. I'm drinking cacao. Cacao right now has been my go-to drink because cacao is a heart opener. It really does open up your heart to be more present, be more alive. As you can already see, just like this room and this color that I'm wearing and the plants around me, they're just so vibrant and warm. And every little part of your routine, every little part of what you drink, what you take in through all your senses, they all matter. They all become what becomes you. And being intentional with what you're wearing and what you're drinking can really be beneficial. It's not all the time that I drink cacao. It's been my third day. I've already been seeing my body being like, okay, after this drink, we probably need to slow down. And that's how I listen to my body because, again, you don't want to over consume something. So even though I'm wearing matcha, I don't drink it every day. I take my time with like indulging and sipping my matcha. Because I value it, I honor it, and it's a ritual for me. So I can listen to when I want to dive into that pleasure. I drink some matcha. I can listen to if my body is needing something else. For example, other herbs that I drink. I love drinking Damiana. I think I've talked about Damiana on here. Yes, I have, I think. Yes. With 2 episodes. One of the episodes was with the yoni specialist Tamika. I talk about Damiana with her. But then also on a previous episode, I also talk about Damiana as like part of this calling back your power, this yoni cleanse that I've had been doing for myself. So Damiana really helped me really connect back to my sensuality, really connect back to that Aphrodite energy within me. And again, it just changes all the time. The drink itself, I mean, water is absolute needed. So that's the foundation of what I drink, especially given the results of this clear skin, but also the benefits of like, you don't want to just drink water. So mixing it up with some tea, with some rose petal tea. Oh, that's so good. And like cacao and matcha and so forth. But yeah, that's a little bit on what's going on here with the matcha and the cacao look today. But let's get into this week's episode. This week's episode has been geared towards seeing that in my own life, just within these last few weeks of transitioning from 2025 into 2026, noticing the energies of like, what do I want to actually intentionally bring into 2026 and what needs to be let go of. And I feel like Spirit gave me the first bit of like, okay, I'm going to give you something very noticeable in your way that's been holding you back. And just a few days ago, I was ready to get back into my routine. Let me just tell you my routine. So in the mornings, I have a very specific routine that I do, and it works for me. It's been trial and error on how to get it together and show up for it. So that's another reason why I'm so willing to stick to this routine. It's waking up at 6 a.m. It's drinking lemon water. Then it's going into a bit of a meditation with like an eye mask on. And then also walking my dog, Matcha. Yes, my dog's name is Matcha, if I didn't already say that. And then also doing a working out, moving my body. And my workouts usually consist of something very fiery. That fire is like with weights. It's usually also like doing yoga, not like a slow yoga, but more of like a vinyasa flow and building that heat. So my intention when I work out is to build heat. I have found that lately I love to sweat. I actually really enjoy sweating because it makes me feel good. Once I get to feel that like initial push of like I pushed myself far enough, it feels like a completion. It feels like, yes, we did it, and routinely, we know with intention that's going to create results, right? So me working out it's creating the result that I'm looking forward to. And that is feeling fit, looking fit, and feeling nice and rejuvenated. That is why I do the workout, right? But those few days ago that I had of not feeling like I could actually show up to the routine, I was beating myself up. I was like, what the heck? Come on, get up on time. Like, get into your routine. I was seeing, I was like, I was waking up later. I was having to, walk my dog a little later than what I expected. I was feeling so sluggish because it was also a full moon. Full moons, just to be clear, gets you in this place of feeling so tired. So if you've ever realized that you get really tired sometimes out of nowhere, or like through a gap of the month, that's usually because, of course, you're either on your menstrual, it's also maybe the full moon, or maybe, yeah, you're just exhausted. Something's, there's always this pause in the middle of the month that makes you want to take that time to go in, to be a hermit. And during that time frame of me wanting to push my routines, it was that time to go inward. It was that time to be a hermit. But I was so fixated on the routine aspect that I couldn't look at anything greater. I couldn't actually listen to my body. I sat there journaling, and I sat there looking at myself like, I'm pushing myself, but my body is saying something different. That it almost caused like this friction of like anxiety. I took a while to move during that time of journaling and being like, well, okay, maybe we can change it up. Let's compromise. Let's maybe do some breath work, but then we'll run after. Like, we'll go for a run. And I can hear my body saying one thing, like my body feeling one way, but then my mind feeling like this whole other way of like, let's go, let's do, let's get on with it. We have to hop back on. Everyone around you in this world is hopped back on. They're showing up to work. They're showing up. And I could not show up the way that I wanted to, the way that I expected to. And because of that, yeah, it just had me stay in that really low place. And when I took a moment to breathe and I was like, okay, well, I really cannot work out right now. Like, my body is exhausted and I don't feel up for it. Instead, I decided to honor the breath work. I did the breath work, the Kundalini breath work, and it allowed me to move energy around my body. And then I could still hear my thoughts, my mind is being like, okay, well, you did the breath work. Now let's go run. Like, let's go do something else. And I questioned it. I was like, so why are we going to run? Like, why do we feel like we need to do this extra push? And the response that my subconscious gave me was, we need to do this because we want to look good. We want to have a better looking body. And this is a vulnerable moment that I'm going to share with you, but I've had body struggles for quite a while. And I think this is very common. I mean, the social media, the advertisements, the entertainment, all that we're fed, all that junk food of one size fits all can get to a person. And for me, subconsciously, that's what I'm constantly having to rewire is I love my body. I respect my body and I'm here for it, and coming to terms with that I will not be the model body person. My body's not built that way. So taking those steps back allows me to respect my body and be thankful for how it looks, how it's decided to manifest in this life, because this is only one wrist. This is only one body. Why not show that respect? And with the routine, I ChatGPT'd this. So with routine versus consistency, I asked my ChatGPT, I call the AI soul like SOL, because it's like a ball of sunshine. I've talked about AI quite a few times on here, and I think everyone has their pros and cons to AI, but we all have to develop and grow with what technology is showing. And so if I'm going to use it, why not make it a replica of a beautiful ball of sunshine? Why not give me all the juicy information about what I would find online, about anything spiritual, anything holistic, anything wellness, and play with it. Although we all as humans have our own creative ways to play with that. We don't have to like take it all in like into like this is true. We have discernment still as a human, so it's like AI can only do so much and like could only work so much, and I'm okay with that. So routine it shared is like it's a copy and paste. It's like you are taking this action because it's going to give you a result that you're well aware of, a result that's already given results before. Consistency is not specifically a routine. Consistency has different results. Consistency shows up in different ways. You can still like have the container and the cubicle and the idea of what you're going to be doing, but it may not look the same. And sometimes you may not even be able to do exactly that same thing. So me walking my dog it's consistent. I still showed up for it. It just wasn't at the same time and space. And also drinking my lemon water. I didn't drink lemon water, but I drank also something very yummy, and that was cacao. And also with working out, I didn't put in this like hard effort to like have the fire going. I did breath work instead. And that was enough. That really gave me the juice I needed instead of pushing myself to exhaustion even more. And then my routine was done. What I've been learning as a creative throughout like everything else that I do. So whether it be this podcast, whether it be creating a workshop, whether it be also with my work, Real Roots, like it's consistency. It's not technically routine. And this is something big that's going on here. So as a creative, we must honor that every day is not the same. We must honor that spirit is not asking us to copy and paste what we already know into creating something else. We can do that if we're getting absolute great results, but even then, that great result becomes mundane. It becomes stagnant and stuck. And we have to keep growing. We have to keep going. So, routine can only work so much. Your masculine can only work so much with its structure. This is when we allow spirit to talk. This is when we allow the intuition to talk. This is when we allow the body to talk. So we're welcoming and allowing the feminine to do its part so we can be both, not either or. It becomes like the yin yang. So you're going to see that the like routine has consistency, the consistency has routine, but they're just not always going to be at the same place, same time, same result. And I do feel like, so the problem aspect of it, like the root of like what causes us to not get the full out of the ordinary results, so like get the full like manifestation maybe, or get the full creation fully embodied, it's because we're still stuck. We get trapped and stuck in the routine aspect. And we can be hard on ourselves because of that. And we can become blinded by it too. Because what I've noticed is that when it comes to the routine, what we're creating is that bubble, right, of external structure. So it's so easy, again, to show up outside of yourself. It's so easy to show up at work, show up for others. But when it's about showing up for ourselves, when it's about showing up for our creations, when it's about showing up for our own little cubicle, we become like authority that like it's not actually helping us. It comes into play with like parenting. We all were once babies. Our coaches, our teachers, our professors, our bosses, everyone around us that has some type of authority was once a child. And those children learned from their parents on how to be an authority figure. And that gets passed down to us. So they expect, just like a parent, they expect you to show up. They expect you to show up as your best. And when it comes to yourself, you expect yourself to show up as your best. You're bringing that on as like an echo into your subconscious mind. You expect yourself to get a good result. And when it doesn't become a good result, you can bog yourself down. You can limit yourself. And then you create a loop. You create this tug-of-war loop. You create this place of feeling hard on yourself. And then you sometimes don't even get anywhere because that it took too much effort and control on being hard on yourself instead of going with the flow and inviting ease and grace. So what we're seeing here now is that like what is internally given to us, we are externally projecting. What externally is given to us, we are internally projecting. So if we just really realize like your outside world and how you move about is not any different from how you are inside and how you act and respond to yourself. And this episode is really about inviting grace, inviting yourself to slow down, inviting yourself to listen to what your body is saying to you. Because if you're a woman listening to this, like every day ain't the same, honey. We have a whole moon cycle. We are not always on all the time. We are being told to rest. We're being told to sit in stillness. We are being told to do other than doing and give to ourselves. That's the beauty of being a woman. But this can also be found in a man. There is also that feminine and masculine energy residing in every single one of us. So when we can take on understanding that our feminine side, this receiving, this nurturing, this intuitive side of us is speaking to us because it wants us to help make different results, greater results. I've been reading this book from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's really been helpful because this book has been an eye-opener. It's been showing me, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's been showing me how like if you really want to manifest your future, if you want to bring it into your present moment, it's a matter of being and embodying it now, not later, like now. And with this being said, every day does not look the same. Every day is different. Every day you're figuring out, you're asking your spirit, you're asking your higher self, like, hey, how am I going to move today? How do we want to move today? How do we want to show up for the creation, for this new results that we're creating? And then we receive the pings, we receive the downloads. I highly recommend journaling and having a journal with you because there's so many juicy insights we get throughout our day. There's so many juicy ways that our spirit speaks to us. And sometimes we could just let it flow out like one ear through the other. It's gone. And then we're searching, we're scavenger hunting once the pattern comes back around and we feel like we need to search again. So why not take the reins of what's been given and use that as a catalyst, as movement and momentum? Another one that I want to talk about is I witnessed my aunt being a form of container, of structure for her baby. And talking with my aunt, she was like, oh, well, this baby or my baby needs structure. So it has like a whole routine that it does. The baby needs to take a bath. The baby needs to eat. The baby needs to play. Like, it has these things that it does. And if it doesn't follow through with that routine, it's all over the place. So containers are very helpful. They are very much needed. And if that baby doesn't have it, it's going to cry. It's going to have a fit. It's going to feel unloved, because babies are very intuitive. Babies can feel the energy, when they can feel when you care and when you don't. That's why they cry. They want to feel that nurturing and love, and they need it. And so when I told the AI this, it responded with me with like, yes, that is exactly what us as humans, as adults, we need that same consistency. We need it to feel secured. We need it to feel safe. But when a baby acts up and doesn't really follow through with the consistency, right? Like, or with the routine, it doesn't really like become behaved or become the results that you want. Maybe the baby is crying even more. Maybe the baby is responding in a different way because the body of the baby doesn't need a certain thing at that time. So you're understanding what this baby needs as you go. And you're not telling the baby like, well, become stronger, or like get it together, or like, push through. You're not telling the baby that. You're actually nurturing the baby. You're saying, okay, let's pivot around. Like, what do you need? How can I help? And you figure it out with the baby. And the baby isn't always going to be staying all healthy, mighty, and strong. It's going to get sick. So you're also learning these patterns of like how to listen to this baby who doesn't have words to speak, and is responding by the senses, is responding by what it feels in its body. This is exactly what we have as adults still. We are not disconnected from our baby self. We are still a body. We are still a human that feels, that responds through the senses, through the feelings. And when your body is having these talks with you, when your intuition is having these talks with you, we are to listen. We are to respect ourselves and nurture ourselves instead of feeding ourselves with more judgment, feeding ourselves with more blocks, and giving ourselves the wrong nutrients. We can then stunt our growth, and then it becomes a result of copying and pasting your last reality, what you last created, into your future, and the cycle continues. So when it comes to routine versus consistency, give yourself the grace you need. The grace you need to slow down, to listen to your body, listen to your intuition, inviting in spirit more, and honoring the feminine within you, regardless of your gender, embodying and honoring that feminine energy of rest, of nutrients, and seeing yourself as that baby that needs nutrients. So before we close, I do want to have you place your hand on your heart, and I want you to repeat after me. I'm willing to show up just as I am. I'm willing to slow down when my body is asking. I'm willing to step off the hamster wheel and invite rest, invite love. So be it. Lovely. Thank you, Soul Babes, for tuning in to this week's episode. If you would like to hear more about being in your essence, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You can also find Essence Podcast available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.